and then magwala na tayo with Chris. Ganun na lang, sir. That was my polite way of saying, with Chris na tayo mag-Mardagulan. This is the respectable part.
Halata ko naman, halata ko yung
Parang hindi. Reminders. Okay, go?
Flexible.
Alright, okay. Wala naman akong problema sa flexibility. Iba yung problema natin dito. Go? Okay. On yan? Okay.
All legitimate journalists have
Okay. Welcome back everyone dito sa latest episode ng FYI, a voter education series, but for sure now it's gonna be more voter agitation. So speaking of agitation, let's start with our most behaved guest. Sir Ronald, thank you very much for joining our very respectable co-guest, Justice Carpio and Admiral Ong. At please wag mo katawagan na Christian or something. No room for error here. Because at least sila, pag tinawag ko yung Justice si Admiral, nagagalit siya eh. Tapos tinatawag ko nga Admiral. Tuloy.
Oo nga, Padre Amazon.
Oo nga eh. Huwag muna tayo pumunta sa Vatican, Sir Ronald. Let's start with you. Kamusta yung status ng bangka ni Aimee as of this taping? Gumagalaw, lalong lumulubog?
Well, una naman kasya sa dalawang ilog. So, nireject siya ng dalawang ilog. No? At naiwan siya namamangka sa lupa. No? Ngayon, mismo yung lupa, lumubog na. kaya I doubt kung makakaahon yung bangka niya. Yes. No? Multiple metaphors na yung ginamit ko.
Medyo mix na, hybrid.
Kaya, well, nakakalungkot na yung presidential sister ay parang improbable. Hindi ko sinasabing impossible, pero improbable na manalo dahil sa kanyang wrong tactics and strategies. No? Hindi ko alam kung sino yung kanyang advisor pero dapat hindi lamang niya sisantihin. Dapat ipakulong niya.
Sa pagkaalam mo, Sir Ronald, may nagsisialisan sa isang campaign. I won't be surprised. Baka kung wala na siyang advisor.
Or pwede niya i-hire yung PR troll company na hinire ng Chinese embassy.
Pag-usapan natin. Pinagawan mo naman ng tanong yung mga kapitbahay mo. But going back to the Senate race, like this is wild. It looks like 9 people are competing for basically the last slot. Yes. Si Pam slightly nag-improve at least sa Octa survey. Kiko is basically still there, but Philip Salvador is very much now in the contention, and Mark Oleta is just knocking on the.
Pero hindi ko maintindihan yung mga surveys eh. Malalayo sila sa isa't isa. Halimbawa, yung latest, yung WR numero. Ang layo dun sa ibang surveys.
Kahit sa Octa?
Oo, medyo malayo. Kaya, una yon yung differences sa mga surveys. Ikalawa yung dissonance within the surveys themselves. Yeah. Halimbawa, may isang survey na 2/3 ng those surveyed agree na dapat talagang kasuhan at si Digong ng ICC. Nandun din almost 2/3 dapat talagang ma-impeach si Sara. But in the same survey, ay 59% ang approval rating ni Sara. In the same survey. So, ano yung dissonance? Siguro bobo lang siguro ako. Pero may mga ganong contradictions yung ibang mga survey.
Ang mas hindi ko maintindihan is paano tumaas yung satisfaction rating kay Sara compared sa last year. Kasi last year may trabaho pa siya. Ngayon basically wala siyang ginagawa. So satisfaction saan?
Well, kung
sa kanyang travel.
Pinag-usapan natin dati rito na tightening, consolidation ng kanilang base. Yeah. No? Tightening. Hindi naman siya nakakakuha dun sa mga undecided, doon sa pink at saka sa BBM. So, nagko-consolidate lang basically sila. Ang sabi dyan ni Ronnie Holmes, it's not a search. It's a consolidation, tightening. So, hindi ganun kadaling ipaliwanag yun in so short a time. So, pwedeng later sa ibang mga podcast natin, discuss natin.
Yeah, doon sa next na less respectable, ito respectable, but speaking of respectable, Justice Carpio, I mean, we were talking about Ateneo surveys and like, you're from Davao, kamusta mga Duterte from your reading? They seem to be doing still okay, considering everything. Last time we were here, we had the top press conference as Duterte was being, ano ba technical term? Arrested away. Ingat na ako eh, when he's away, I'm not using. Ano, Justice?
Well, the recent survey that the Davao, the Dutertes are winning by a wide margin. So I don't know if it's a failure of Jesuit education or it's just the
failure of education per se. Kasi yun ang concern natin sa failure of education system per se.
Definition of Jesuitic.
But it's very strange that all the Dutertes are winning in a survey in a mock election in Davao.
It's supposedly the most progressive,
Yeah, the most
highly
progressive
educated,
and most liberal, no?
yeah, liberal, yeah.
Baka mali yung ating assumption.
About
Most progressive.
baka mali tayo kay Duterte, baka he's progressive, we just don't know that. Ikaw, Admiral, kanina over lunch, you were asking us, di ba, like, baka, are we missing something about, what is your read, Admiral, from a, I don't know, from a military standpoint, the fact that the Duterte people are not doing only well in Davao, but if you look at at least one thing common in all surveys is Bato and Bongo are doing very well, right? I think nakapapunta na tayo sa excitement.
Yung isa rin itanong mo kay Admiral ay bakit si Kerubin at saka si Gringo ang in-endorse ni Digong at saka PDP Laban. Hindi si Camille at saka si Amy na in-endorse ni Sara.
So may split na rin in the House of Duterte.
Saan ang gagaling yan? Saan ang gagaling?
May naman tayo masabi sa military wing.
Consistent naman si
Digong.
President Duterte is always been trying to incite the armed forces and security sector to his side. Then, nare-reinforce ni Sara in her statements. So, I think this is a strategic move. He's courting the military pa rin. Hindi siya nagbago ng playbook niya. So, this is a strategic play on his part, courting the military through yung dalawang.
But do they have residual influence on the armed forces or ano lang yan? More like Hall of Fame collection trophy?
It's them Kumbaga mindset na nila yan
Yeah. And since last time we talked, do you think Duterte is making inroads within the military? All of the agitation, all of the concerns we had with the military back in the day?
Well,
Nag-die down na ba? Or?
At the end of the day, yung professionalism naman yung dyan yung sustain yun
Yeah.
Iba yung personal political feelings mo versus yung what you need to do as part of an institution. But they're trying to play around with yung personal yung personal feelings ng mga kasundalo.
Sir, I'll go back to you kasi mamaya na lang we'll consult our legal advisor. We don't want to be libelous, but speaking of dissonance, surveys say, ayon ang tao ng mga pro-China candidates, okay, let's put it even nicer.
75%.
Surveys say they like more patriotic candidates.
Yes.
And yet, you look at yung mga matataas Senate race, to put it mildly, like either they were very close to the former president who was very questionable in terms of his take on the West Philippine Sea, or they were very quiet until recently yung siya nagsabi na handa na siya magpakamatay sa West Philippine Sea, yung ganyan. Like, how does that make sense? Is it because hindi na-connect ng dots or hindi na-connect ng dots? Like, other candidates are not attacking some of these candidates who could be accused of being allegedly pro-China, right? Ang bait ng mga candidates No one's attacking anyone in the way they should.
It's a failure of messaging.
On whose part? Other candidates, everyone?
Ano mga kalaban itong mga pro-China na ito? Dahil hindi na na-etiquette itong 75 to 90%, depende sa survey, na ayaw sa China. No? At hindi iboboto yung mga pro-China candidates. Ibig sabihin, hindi yan na-etiquette dun sa mga pro-China candidates na ngayon nagpapanggap na hindi sila pro-China. No? So, yun yung doon naman yung dissonance, doon naman yung failure na ma-etiquette
sila. Ito distance naman, communication gap.
Ma-etiquette sila. No? At kaya mahalaga yan. Hindi ko alam kung magagawa yan within the next 12 days ng campaign. No? Pero sana ma-dramatize yan No? Alam ko, isang coalition ng anti-China, yung atin ito, ay maglalabas talaga ng konkretong list ng mga pro-China. No?
Hindi ba libelous yan, Justice?
It's part of election.
Free speech
You
yun
can do that?
That's free speech.
Baka natin, okay man. Kasi kahapon yung mga case mo takot
No? At saka kayang patunayan yan.
Sir, you wanna get the ball rolling, sir?
Yeah, Bongo and Bato are pro-China. No? Aimee is pro-China.
Okay lang, sir.
That's very clear.
Kami,
That's very clear. No?
Kahapon, puro takot yung guest natin. Sabi ko, Okay, relax na. Free speech.
Hindi lang. Kung ikaw ay isang journalist, ay dapat may mahaba kang pila ng libel cases lamang sa'yo.
I'm not sure.
Kung wala kang libel cases, mahina ka.
Pero yung Sir Roland, marami kang libel dapat, pero kahit hindi ka journalist, paano yan?
Hindi, para sa akin, damay ako sa'yo. Yung, toxic masculinity. Ito naman nadamay eh. No?
Let's be clear, nauna yung name mo, Ronald Darian Esguerra. So, let's just be clear.
Damay lang yun.
Damay. Justice Carpio, since hindi naman libel yung ginawa ni Ronald, ang concern ko naman hindi freedom of expression, freedom after expression ang concern ko. But Justice, how do you see this? Na parang we have 9 out of 10 Filipinos saying we have to take it off stars on West Philippines, parang panitigong, almost 8 out of 10 saying we want patriotic, hindi pro-China, and then biglang titignan mo, even yung mga survey na binabash mo, more or less same din yung ranking na parang, wait, bakit parang taas ng mga ibang kaibigan natin? Dahil ba sinabi ni Bato na maghanda na siya magpakamatay sa
nobody explained why they are
pro-China. Seen as pro-China.
Yes, nobody explained.
But nobody was calling them out.
Yeah.
Why kaya? Takot din sila malibel.
Well, tinanong ko si Senator Francis Tolentino the other day, bakit ang linaw-linaw ng posisyon ng mga mamamayan against China, pero halos walang senador, no, na bumabalat sa China. No? Halos wala. Especially even with the administration's late.
Yeah.
Pagkatapos banatan ni President BBM yung mga Duterte of being clearly pro-China, bakit yung kanyang slate hindi sinusundan yung kanyang banat? Ang sabi ni Senator Francis Tolentino, without equivocation, dahil takot sila sa China.
Oh, wow.
Takot sila. Halimbawa, ang isang primary platform ngayon sa social media is TikTok. Sino ba may hawak ng TikTok?
Right.
So, China. Takot sila siguro na mabalatan sa TikTok.
Ako nga, nabahan ako
Ayan,
yan.
hindi ka naman takot eh. Saka hindi ka naman kandidato. Saka kahit kandidato ka, hindi ka naman mananalo.
Sir, I will hold you to that. Balikan kita yung magkita dahil sa 2028.
Pag ikaw ay nagsubok tumakbo, tatakbo na rin ako.
Lately, si Senator Tolentino lumabas na against China.
Yes. Pero dapat lumabas siya earlier eh.
Yeah, too late.
Too late eh. Layo na niya eh.
Magpakabait muna tayo sa China bago tayo tumakbo. Wala pa rin TikTok.
Wala, ikaw, banned ka na nga sa China. No? Hindi ka binigyan ng visa.
Then nag-apologize naman sila. So, I'll see you in Beijing soon. No, but Justice Carpio, going back to you, again, like, because I've seen some surveys, including consumer sentiment surveys, corporations na hindi na itong mga survey agencies lang. Up to 21 to 25% of voters actually made the decision on the election day. So we still have time, right? Or there's something should be done in the final. What happened to the COMELEC debates? Di ba na may COMELEC debates yung mga senador? Like, what's going on?
Wala yata nag-attend eh.
Ayan tayo eh. Kaya pakita na lang yan. Food vlog na lang lahat, di ba? Like, so what should happen? Ano ba nangyari dito? Natawagin. Ikaw, Justice, like, what should happen in the final days of the campaign to call out what some see as lack of patriotic credentials or something?
Well, I think what Tolentino is doing is correct. It's now saying that China is an issue in this election. And that's the only way he can recover, but maybe it's just too late. No?
Last 2 weeks?
Last 2 weeks.
Ang usapan niya sa last 2 weeks is machinery. Hindi na yan market.
Well, the Gen Zs they could be, a bit more protean in terms of, we still have no proper data on Gen Z to make a decision.
Yes. Ito yung election na pwedeng dominant ang social media. No? Pwede.
And TikTok and Gen Z.
TV pa rin TV pa rin ang buhos ng mga ads. Hindi pa rin social media. Kaya tingnan natin. No? At the very least ay significant player ngayon ang social media sa election.
Very significant.
Pero whether dominant or not is another thing.
Well, I've seen surveys again by very big companies, internal survey for their own CEOs and all. Actually, ka-level na ngayon ng influencers ang news media. Basically tied. In fact, 1 point ahead pa ngayon. This is especially for younger voters, like Gen Z and TikTok. They don't watch us on TV, they watch us somewhere here or on TikTok.
Kaya nga
if China allows it.
Kaya maraming influencers ang maraming pera ngayon eh.
Na hindi tayo kasama.
Binabayaran ka na YouTube, binabayaran ka ng Facebook, yung iba may mga ads, no, etc. So, at kanyan, walang tax yan. No, walang tax yan, no? Kaya...
They may double taxation. So, meron ka automatic tax deduction from the Google and all of that. And then here, you have to pay again. But
how do you do that? Parang, ang hirap yung monitor niya.
No, there's a way. You can see from the views. You can make a rough calculation. There's a methodology.
So, nagbabayad ka ng tax?
Yeah, double tax. Not only once, but twice.
So, mataas pa rin ang sahod mo, okay?
Mataas yun. Kaya medyo hindi pa tayo highlight, Canadian lang ba yung brand natin?
Kaya pala may Hortons na eh.
Admiral, Admiral, balikan natin. Hindi, ito may mga tayo, mga partners tayo. Admiral, medyo na-booking na yung isang embahada dito ay ayaw na ng quote-unquote troll farms. Hindi ba nakakabali yan? This is a sign that we could have direct influence operations or election interference. Should we be as worried as Taiwan and some other countries na even yung baka ma-hack yung election mismo? Kasi sinasabi ni Sir Roland, baka takot din ibang countries, hindi lang baka ma-shadow ban, hindi lang ban, shadow ban pa yung mas nakakatakot din sa TikTok or but you know, tatargeting ka pa on the day of elections, different machinery might be at play. What is your read on that?
Meron ba tayong capacity, Admiral, to mitigate that?
Or are we even preparing? Are we in the zone?
Dahil ang ating military at saka meron ganyang klaseng mga di ba? Mga machinery.
Cyber.
Pero at the end of the day, ang target niyan is yung ordinary
Voters. Yeah.
ordinary voter, ordinary Filipinos. So, it can be from the supply side or the demand side.
Or both.
Ang solution talaga, long term yan, would be education.
So,
yung ginawa ng Taiwan.
So, 2035 election baka matira. Ayaw ko ito, long term na ito eh. Medyo baka di na tayo tatagal yan.
We have to understand that as far as yung ating Tigwan with China, yung ating 2025 and 2028 elections are battlegrounds for influence. Unless we accept that, then half-hearted yung natin, yung countermeasures natin dyan. So yung possible hacking, that's a technical I leave it to our side.
Short-term yeah. Pero yung resilience of
But the battle for influence, andun yan. Now, if they cannot solidify a pro-China, which is I think impossible kasi yung needle talaga, 87-90% is trust China eh. So,
but 60% trust.
You mentioned kanina yung 75%. But it's coming from, it went down from 17%. From 17 to 17. So, bumababa siya. That means, nagtatraction sila. And I think yung class E yung tinamaan, doon bumaba yun eh. So, may konting traction yung influence operation.
Pero di ba, Admiral, we have to treat this as to paraphrase Karl von Clausewitz. This is war by other means. No? Parang ang arena ngayon ng battle ay social media. At parang hindi pa tayo nakakaabot sa ganung level. Na ito ay gera. Diba? We are not only being invaded physically, we are being invaded internally through social media.
Software.
This is more insidious kasi ang target dito is yung moral will to fight ng Filipino or moral will to resist. The best way they can do that, yung pinakamadali is, as I said in the previous natin, simply divide the Filipinos. Pag-away-away sila. That they can already claim victory na pag-away-away tayo. Then, imbis na nakatutok tayo sa West Philippine Sea or any potential problem sa Taiwan, ang tutok natin sa isa't isa eh. Which is, yun actually nangyayari ngayon.
Even some of the candidates or,
Hindi, nakatutok tayo ngayon. Sinabi ni Sarah na isasaksak niya yung mansanas sa bibig ng kanilang mga detractors hanggang mamatay. Yung sinabi niya, very graphic eh. Diba, the other day,
I didn't know Sarah is so literally gifted, no? In first, I really like yung mga
At sanay ako makipaglabanan sa kanal.
Yung mga metaphor.
Kanal ko dyan, kanal politics. Hindi na gut kanal politics. Justice, as a resident Davao expert, I'm so sorry, Justice, we're doing this to you. What is your read on this, China alleged influence operations and also the fact that parang ilang taon na tayo just is working together to raise awareness on that. I think we've been successful in a certain way. But there should be more to this, right? Like yung education system natin, ang problema eh.
I think we have been successful because the at least 80% to 90% of Filipino people want to be duly asserted, want to defend the West Philippine Sea. Ang problema natin, how to relate that to elections.
Getting the right candidates, getting the right leaders.
Because we have not been working on that.
Yeah.
We've been fighting China and raising the awareness of the people against China, but not with respect to
pro-China candidates.
To candidates.
Yeah.
We did not touch that there.
Plus there are other issues na yan election mas relevant. Jobs, inflation, unemployment.
But you can never compete with that, right? Unless i-connect mo yung West Philippines issue sa food security. Sabihin natin, yung presyo ng galunggong. You know, like, you kind of make it more either gut issue or heart issue.
But who's doing that?
No, tayo lang nag-usap. Hindi nga tayo kandidato. Hindi nga tayo kandidato.
Those running for election should be the one, making the case for that.
Yes, the ones running should make it an issue, but they did not make it an issue. Ngayon lang si Tolentino Senator Tolentino, too late.
Well, Tolentino was like the Ronald Llamas of Duterte, right? He was the political affairs
because
secretary.
Tolentino has a good claim because he was the author. He was the author of the Maritime Zones Bill.
Yes.
Tamang-tama siya, but he did not use it.
Ginamit niya yun as a campaign peg.
Yeah.
Diba? Lalo na alam niya, 80 to 90% ay sang-ayon doon. 80 to 90% ay talagang critical at saka kalaban ng China. So, hindi ko alam ba,
I was expecting him to use it, but it's too late. It's using it now only, too late.
Or baka hindi nagre-resonate or hindi, like, ikaw, Admiral, like, what is your read from other countries? Kasi sa Taiwan, right? Yung DPP will openly call Kuomintang as pro-China party. Like, grabe, or sa Korea, di ba? Yung talagang lantaran, ikaw, in North Korea, di ba? Like, yung mga conservative, they call that.
It's an election issue.
Yeah, they're talagang.
Sa atin, hindi natin ginawang election issue.
Well,
At
it was
least hindi
supposed
pa.
to be.
At least hindi pa.
But the candidates didn't. Like, all of us, journalists, pundits, we were all saying these elections would be a West Philippines China issue. And then suddenly nothing came from the candidates. Even yung mga pink candidates. I don't know, what did Kiko and Bam say on West Philippines? Food vlog lang na sabi nila yung nag-sabaw. I mean, maybe from their logic, playing safe is also helping them because Bam is doing well in surveys, Kiko is kind of there.
Hindi akong pasukan yung logic dahil baka saan na naman tayo umabot eh.
Heraclitus. But Sir Ronald, I don't know why you bring Heraclitus in any conversation. But Justice Carpy, like, how worried are you about these elections not putting enough of patriotic people, or just to put it even more brutally, getting too many wrong people into the next Senate, and then maybe even setting it up for a potential return of a more pro-China faction in Malacanang by 2028? Like,
well, I'm worried.
Yeah.
I thought that the West Philippine Sea will be an election issue. We prepared for that. We explained to the people, so it was up to the candidates to use it, but they did not use it. Yun ang problema.
Talagang may problema. Dapat tayo ng candidate sa Ronald. Kahit matatama.
Yung ngayon, sasabihin ko, pinapaliwanag mo na yung mga pundits, yung
nagkamali tayo.
racial issue na yan, no? Pero walang kumuha. Kaya, kayo na lang ang tumakbo.
Hindi, para sa'yo, kung tatakbo ka rin.
Hindi, campaign manager mo ako. No?
Malaking bayan mo eh. Alam ko, malaki ang gano'n mo eh.
Puro tibay nga ako sa gasol.
Admiral, going back to this, there's also the Taiwan issue, right? Hindi lang ito West Philippine Sea. I think because of the Taiwan issue, naging mas high stakes ito sa mga Chinese based on my conversation with them. Parang mas talagang ayaw nilang, wala silang room for flexibility on that. And the fact that the Philippines it could host another Typhoon missile, the fact that some of our Balikatan exercises as we speak could be oriented towards the Bashi Channel. China may have even more interest in making sure our domestic politics move in a certain direction, and more interest in influencing LGUs, right? Yung LGUs yung soft underbelly natin, or backdoor, as Ronald would want to put it, right? How do you see that angle?
And President Marcos Abdaante, when he signed that resolution or yung document about allowing government officials to actually visit Taiwan, except for the President,
relaxing the
Vice President, the Foreign and Defense Ministry. So there is a play actually for increasing yung collaboration or at least increasing yung engagement natin with Taiwan.
Lalo na, may 250,000 tayong OFW.
Yeah.
In such a small place.
And you have to get them out safely. At the same time, like if there's gonna be a war, bumabay tayo ng China, di ba? Like they're not gonna wait for us to make a decision whether we're gonna be neutral. They're gonna suppose we're gonna help the Americans, right? So might as well.
Well, nandun yun. I mean, that's the end of the spectrum. They go kinetic. No? Pero as I said earlier, in the early discussions, they don't have to do anything physical sa Philippines. Eh. They just need to actually create a distraction para we just focus on our domestic issues.
So they don't even need the next Malacanang faction to be their guy. They just need an unstable and weak administration.
They don't need to succeed. They just need to keep us destabilized.
Right.
So even if hindi sila makapush ng candidate nila for 2028, but hindi it disrupts policy making and yung focus ng government. That's the best they can do. Win pa rin sa kanila.
And on that score, we're not doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where influence operations
Yeah.
actually is headed out.
Hindi naman tayo kasi military threat sa China. Even
Not directly.
kahit ma-multiply 10 times yung Typhoon missiles natin, it's more perception that we can attempt to defend ourselves. Pero in a real war, that won't last 10 minutes.
No, but if it's part of a bigger integrated missile system, then it will matter.
China, ang effort ng China is to isolate us diplomatically. And I think to some extent yun yung effect niya is yung relations natin with the rest of the ASEAN member states. So, kaya sila nakafocus sa atin in terms of actually harassing us to the point na extreme na yung actions nila. Is to make us an example. Kasi ang worry nila, we will be influencing our neighbors to actually rise up against China.
So we're the chicken to the monkeys. Parang kill the chicken to scare the monkeys. Parang ganon, yeah. Actually, I was hearing from our friends who are in Singapore recently. Some of my good friends in Singapore are calling Philippines troublemaker. Lee Hsien-Loong last year before he stepped down, he was almost like blaming us for the tensions there.
I was in Malaysia last month. Pag-usap ko yung mga high government officials. Sabi ng isang minister, as far as we are concerned, the only tension in the South China Sea is between China and the Philippines.
And we're just the US. We're like the deputy sheriff of US in parang in ASEAN, parang ganun. Just as next year we're gonna be the ASEAN chairman. How do we balance this? How do we make sure we're not isolated? How do we make sure we leverage? And same, how do we make sure we prepare the Philippines for this? You said generational challenge. They could, like the next 5 to 10 years could be very tense.
Especially now, Justice, that China is pushing for the code of conduct na hinaharangan nila for several years. So ngayon, medyo in-scale up nila. So para tingin ko, lalo tayo ma-isolate.
At kinagat ni Manalo. Sinabi ni Manalo, we're gonna
I think China is really not interested in code of conduct because Vietnam wants the parasals to be included and China will never agree. Yeah. We want the Scarborough Shoal to be included, we want the Orbital Award to be included, and China will never agree. And all of us want the code to be legally binding, and China doesn't.
And ASEAN is by consensus.
Yeah. So, wala talagang mangyari. So, China is just dragging this
for propaganda level.
For propaganda lang. And let us decide this, settle this issue in accordance with UNCLOS, in accordance with international law. Pero they're the ones violating UNCLOS, they're the ones violating international law. So talagang, they're just playing us
tagging us along, yeah.
So, what do we do when we get the chairmanship? Well, we know that Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar will always be for China, and the ASEAN operates by consensus. So there will be no consensus. We can do a little small grouping, coalition of the willing. You have Vietnam and probably Malaysia, Malaysia.
Malawak rin,
Yeah,
malawak
malawak
rin.
rin.
I don't see that
Only
more.
Vietnam really.
Your friend.
Yeah, Vietnam, because Vietnam has a problem. They have a long border with China.
Yeah.
And
And their economy is totally
yes,
tethered
totally
now.
dependent. They have
French
a
short.
transshipment point. So, well, that's the way. That's why we are willing to get more security relationship with other countries. The missile forces agreement with all other countries outside of ASEAN.
New Zealand, Canada.
And Trump isn't helping any. His reciprocal tariff is creating more discontent among ASEAN countries. Even Singapore, na pinaka-dependent
Lawrence
sa
Wong
US, di ba? Are very critical ngayon kay President Trump. So, parang tinutulak ni Trump yung mga countries sa ASEAN palapit sa China more and more.
Especially Vietnam, 47-48% tariff. Is there a way we can end this episode on a nicer, more optimistic note? Starting with you, Admiral, bago ma-depress yung audience. I think they were expecting, that's how we started with Amy. Since we start, ayoko bumaba yung discussion in terms of morale. I want to bring up the discussion. Can we increase? Hindi tayo bababa. Aakyat natin yung morale. Admiral, can you give us a pep talk before we close this episode?
Maybe the Filipino voters will surprise us a little.
Good surprise, you mean?
A good
Kasi
surprise.
medyo I'm waiting for that. Medyo 2010 ba ako naghihintay?
So yun na lang.
Sa akin kasi, the major battle will be 2028.
Which is starting now.
Kaya meron tayong 3 years na runway. Marami pa tayong pwedeng gawin kumpara dito sa midterm. Na parang nangyari na lang. No? Ngayon, medyo mahaba-haba. At cup half full is yung mataas pa rin, from 75 to 90% ay aware ang mga Pilipino tungkol dito sa aggression ng China. Ang mahalaga lang ay i-consolidate yan, parang bibingka from the government side at mula sa people's movement side para lutuin yan, para ma-consolidate at ma-isolate, ma-demonize yung mga traidor, yung mga makapili, no, sa ating bansa na hindi pa masyadong nagagawa no, hindi pa masyadong nagagawa. Dahil na may kakulangan yung gobyerno na i-weaponize yan, no? So meron kang 3 years para ayusin yan at idikit yan sa isang kandidato o mga kandidato na dala yung ganyang klaseng narrative, no? Yung ganyang klaseng bagong patriotism na siyempre hindi lang patriotism, kailangan lagyan ng laman. Paano mo ipaglalaban ng bansa mo kung yung PhilHealth mo ay 0? Paano mo ipaglalaban yung bansa mo kung ang self-rated poverty ay 63%? Or ang involuntary hunger is 28%. Kailangan give the Filipino people something to fight for, no? As well as to live for. So patriotism na may laman. So yan yan, at hindi yan kayang gawin lamang ng civil society. Kailangan major role dyan yung gobyerno. Diba? So kailangan yung gobyerno magbago rin eh. Hindi nila ma-harness yan, yung patriotism na yan, kung walang transformation ng gobyerno. So kailangan yung gobyerno na susunod ay hindi lamang patriotic, no? Kundi pro-people.
Whole of nation approach, that's it, Justice? I think that's the natural way forward.
Yeah, well, some bright spots. No? We are increasing our security relationship with other countries.
Diversifying.
We are about to sign a missile forces agreement with New Zealand. I think Canada, UK, France will be next, and I think that would make up for the
Trump effect.
For the Trump effect, and for the aggression of China. We should expand this to other like-minded states. And on the point that you brought up, PhilHealth. Well, we filed a case in the Supreme Court.
Yes.
And I think we'll get a good decision there. But it's not the only one. There's so many. We questioned also the 2025 budget. But the government has to step up on this because the Marcos administration right now they can they can easily solve this problem because it's within their control. And why do we have to fight this in the Supreme Court when it's so
Can be fixed on their own, right?
it's so logical that you have to give you have to allocate appropriation budget to the PhilHealth. I mean, that's the basic health of the people.
Yes.
So they can fill up that part of the glass themselves.
Yes.
Prerogative,
Instead of putting it in a pork barrel,
Yeah.
because they got the money of PhilHealth, 60 billion, to put it in the pork barrel. I mean, it's just crazy. We don't have to go through this pain of going to the Supreme Court, arguing. Common sense. You don't take away medicine from the poor.
This is the FOPA, which
Kaya,
explains.
maganda na 75 to 90% ng Pilipino ay conscious dito sa aggression ng China and are even willing to fight against them. That's higher purpose. Patriotism is a higher purpose. Ang problema, pagdating ng eleksyon, gut level pa rin ng mga tao. Sino bang bibigay sa kanila ng ayuda? Sino ang bibili ng kanilang boto? Sino ang mag-i-invoke ng pataas na krimen, no? Para yung kanilang mga takot ay magamit. So, yun yung problema eh. Yung mga tao are very primal. No? Higher purpose, yes, patriotic sila. This is a new kind of patriotism. Pero pagdating ng mga eleksyon, katulad ng midterm, ay ang titignan nila sikmura. Diba? Yung titignan nila sikmura eh. Which is a primal concern. So, kailangan puluan yon ng gobyerno na role, na function yon. Paano ka magiging masusustain yung patriotism mo kung hindi mo alam kung saan ka kukuha ng pamili ng gamot doon sa inaapoy na lagnat na 3-year-old na anak mo? Parang gano'n eh.
Exactly.
No? Madadamage yung patriotism dahil sa kakulangan sa sikmura.
On that very gut level reminder, and you know, like there's 3 years pa, and at least what we're doing is we're pointing out points of strength, the good and the bad and the ugly, and the ugly and the bad could be still fixed, and this should be a whole of nation approach. Thank you so much for this all-star panel ahead of the 2025 elections, which in many ways is really the set up for the big one to come in 2020. Maraming salamat, Justice Carpio, on that. I'm not sure that was a half full, medyo may half full punch ba ang nangyari, but I will take that, Justice. Thank you so much. Sir Ron, thank you for being very well behaved, and in the next episode, lalabas na tayo. And Admiral, thank you so much for, I didn't call you Justice or Secretary or anything. Admiral, thank you so much for sharing your time as always, Admiral. Yeah, and your operation, they always say, amateurs do strategy, real experts do logistics, right? So every time I go, like, listen, pero paano mangyari? Ito lang yung ganyan, di ba? That's why I love having also Admiral with us. But I really appreciate that Justice Carpio, you telling us that Ronald will get away with his libelous comments here. Kasi kahapon takot na takot mga guests. Parang magpakamatay na tayo!